Hey guys, welcome back to another quick review. This time we're looking at Dune, released in 2021, directed by Denis Villeneuve. I'm sorry if I'm completely butchering that name, but I gave it my best shot. Dune, everybody's been talking about. Everybody's been talking about it for a very long time now, being very excited for it, and it has finally come out. Came out last week, and I got the chance to see it. I will say, this is a movie I feel like I desperately need to rewatch. I haven't done that yet, so my opinions on this could very well change. So you'll know that I'm not gonna like make an update video on this movie specifically, but if you want, you can follow my letterbox. I know, shameless plug. That's in the description. You'll get to see if my opinions change on a rewatch. If you don't feel like doing that, then you'll just have to stick around to the end of the year when I do my end of the year, I guess, overview of all the movies I watched this year that released this year. I'll say if my opinions have changed, if I think it's better or worse than I originally did. But yeah, let's get into the review. First, I want to start with the good things in this movie because there are a ton of good things. Because, believe it or not, just like everybody's been saying, this is a really great movie. I really had a great time with it. So let's start with the obvious, and that is that this is just a masterpiece in both the visuals and the audio departments. It might be the best looking film of the year, and I think the only thing that could rival it is The Green Knight, because The Green Knight also looks stunning. But man, this is on a whole other technical level. It's mind blowing. The scale that is captured here, that we'll get into a little more later, is just absolutely mind blowing. This is a movie. If you can see this in theaters, please do. I feel like this is a movie. If you don't, you'll probably regret it. So go see it in theaters. Honestly, if you can watch it on HBO Max, go for it if that's your only way. This is definitely something that needs to be watched just for the technical aspects alone. It's a masterpiece in those areas. I also really liked the characters. I got really into them and they were really engaging. Even though they're really cold and you don't really sympathize with a lot of them, it's still super easy to get invested into it a lot of the time, in my opinion, and that's something that a lot of people had trouble with. Something a lot of people didn't really like is that you couldn't really get into the characters. But I thought it was the opposite. I really liked the characters. I thought it was easy to get invested. That might have just been the insane cast. Which, speaking of, let's talk about that. This has completely phenomenal performances from literally everyone involved. Timothée Chalamet's performance really blew me away as Paul. I think he really nailed it, and I mean everyone did a great job. I really liked everybody. Rebecca Ferguson was really good. I liked Josh Brolin when he was in it. I really liked Oscar Isaac because I like him in everything. It's Oscar Isaac. He's great. And I even liked Jason Momoa. He was cool. He brought a good bit of charisma to it that it kind of needed a little bit. He was like the only like really super likable character. And I like that. I like that they added a single character like that, but they had the rest of them kind of the opposite of that. I like that a lot. Now, circling back to what I said earlier, I completely love that there was no shying away from just having this massive, huge scale. Denis really went all out on this one, and I feel like he really wanted to capture as large of a scale as he possibly could, and I think he really nailed it in that aspect. Hans Zimmer completely kills the score, and that kind of just goes back to what I was saying earlier about this being a technical masterpiece. I honestly think that this is completely worth seeing for the technical aspects of it alone. I also think there are really interesting settings that are super interesting to learn about and explore more of. And I never really got tired of the areas that our characters were exploring because everything was new to them and it was new to us. And so we were always experiencing new things through these characters' eyes. And I liked that a lot. And it didn't help that Arrakis was just a super cool place. It's a super cool setting. And I'm excited to see more of it. I also think that the action is pretty great when it's there. There's not a lot of it, and I like that there's not a lot of it. This movie really focuses on its characters and setting up more of a larger story. But when it shows up, it's pretty great. I liked it a lot. I thought it was pretty exciting. Now let's get into a couple of the things that I didn't think were handled as well here. And I think the big one is that it's pretty hard to follow sometimes. I ended up piecing everything together, but it is kind of confusing from time to time. And maybe that's just me. Again, I just said I desperately need to rewatch this. So this opinion could completely go away on next watch. But for now, I think it's a little too hard to follow sometimes, but again, that might just be completely me. I also don't completely love how the first third of it is almost solely devoted to exposition. I completely understand why they needed to do that. I just didn't like the complete info dumping that was happening. I was still able to stay engaged with it because it was so interesting learning about these things, but I think they could have paced that out a little better. And finally, I just want to say it's very much the first half to a much longer movie. This is not a standalone thing. It's gonna end and you're gonna instantly want the next part, which we will be getting. And this wouldn't be a bad thing if they don't nail part two as hard as we want them to. If they don't like match this quality, then that is a bad thing because this isn't a standalone movie. You can't watch this without watching the next one. It's just not gonna happen. It's kind of like watching Kill Bill 1 without watching Kill Bill 2. Luckily, those movies are great, both of them, so it doesn't matter. So it's the same type of thing here. You can't watch Dune Part 1 without having Dune Part 2. It's such an incomplete story. There literally isn't a climax in this movie. There just isn't. So yeah, I really hope they nail it. If they do, then that's not a criticism. I'm just putting that out there as a potential criticism. So yeah, Dune, it's pretty great, just like everybody has been saying. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Keep in mind, I might like it more on a rewatch. I might like it less on a rewatch. You never know, you know? So let me know how you like Dune down in the comments below. And thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see all of you guys in the next one.